Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the Young Leadership Associates of the American Society for Yad Vashem. My name is Jill Goldster, and I'm the director of the Young Leadership. Here with me, we have Rachel Schnee, co-chair of the Young Leadership Associates, or YLA. We're so honored to have Mira Rosenblatt and her daughter, Belinda Rosenblatt Levavi, here with us this evening. Towards the end of the conversation, there will be an opportunity to ask questions, so feel free to write them in the chat. We promise to get to as many of them as possible. Thanks again for joining us. Now, Rachel will introduce you to our guest of honor.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel. Okay, so here we have Mira Rosenblatt. She was born in 1923 in Sosnowiec, Poland, near the German border. She was born into a religious family, the fourth of 6 children. Only 3 of them survived, including herself. In August 1942, after 2 years of living in the ghetto, Mira was separated from her family and never saw them again. She was selected for labor and was deported to Grunberg, which was part of the Gross Rosen concentration camp complex. For 3 years, Mira worked as a slave laborer in a dangerous factory under the surveillance of cruel and violent guards. In late January 1945, she was forced to join the infamous Death March. After 2 weeks of marching in below freezing temperatures, Mira saw a chance to escape when a Nazi looked away. She took her chance and ran. For the remainder of the war, Mira survived by hiding in the forest and concealing her true identity. She wrote her story together with her daughter Belinda Levavi, who's here, during the early months of quarantine just recently, and it's entitled Strength, My Memoir, which was published just a few months ago and is available on Amazon for purchase. Today, as a young 97-year-old, Baruch Hashem, or 98, is she 98 or 97? 97. Mira's memories remain vivid, and she believes she survived to be a messenger to tell her story. So Mira, we are so honored to have you here today. And again, Mazel Tov on your 2nd vaccine today. Can you tell us a little bit about the day your family was taken to the stadium and separated in the ghetto?
We was, I started to
You
talk.
can talk, yes.
We was 3 sisters, 3 brothers and 3 sisters. There were 6 children and everything. And I have my parents, my father, my mother, and everything. We had a business, and a lot of times, you know, my father
We're going to talk about specifically about the day in July when you went to the ghetto, in August when you left the ghetto, and you went to the stadium, and what that was like with your family.
You know, we was under Targova. We had to get out from our house, from our apartment, because the Germans took over and the Polish people mostly took over. And we was on the stadium, on Alea Street. I knew very well the thing because I was born over there, and I walked over there mostly. On the stadium, I always put it away boards, and I went inside to the stadium without paying, without anything. You know, the life was very difficult. I had a very educated mother, and I had a very educated father. My father was educated in Hebrew, in Jewish and in Hebrew. My mother was educated in Russian and Polish and German, and she was
I know they have read the book, many people, so what they wanted to talk about, which was very touching to a lot of people, is the day in August when the Nazis ordered you out of the Sosnowiec ghetto. The Nazis, and you had to march with your family to the stadium, and you didn't know, you thought you were getting a stamp on a card. So they want to know what it was like, and you had to make a decision the next day about your siblings, about your brother and sister.
The war broke out in 1939 in September. And we tried, the Germans took over. They came in already in 1938, the Germans took over Poland. And they came into the apartments and everything, and they tried very hard to arrest everybody and to show them how to live. They don't needed the Jews, they don't needed nothing, this one and everything. It was very difficult. And we was on the stadium, 20,000 Jews was on the stadium and everything. It was mud. Before it was raining very hard. So it was a lot of mud on this one. A lot of people fell down, slide, because, you know, on a stadium, it was dirt. We tried to save ourselves, but nothing was very difficult, and the German was very rough, very rough.
Were they dividing the groups?
Were they dividing the women separate and the men separate? And I was over there with them, and I was looking for my sister and my sisters and my brothers, because there was young kids. Estusha was young, and Natush was young. There was very young kids and everything, and educated. But what could you do it? The German had the power over us, and nothing you could do it, and everything. I tried very hard, and everything. We tried to hide. We tried to this one, and I knew it. I knew the stadium very well, because I lived over there, and I used to go over there inside a lot of times to the stadium. Just their life was very difficult.
What did you do with your brothers and sisters? You snuck them into your group, right? Because they were
my brothers and sisters, I smuggled them
into your group.
To my groups. I smuggled my brothers and sisters, I smuggled them to Russia.
No. We're talking now about Natan and Estusha and Vida Malka in the stadium.
Okay.
When you separated them from your parents because you knew that they were too young, they were not going to go to a good work camp, and you wanted to try to help them.
Okay. I took the younger kids, and if there was not two other kids, was for my mother's sister, you know, and I tried to hide them into this one. So I put them inside in it was not a shack, it was a big room over there where we used to have a store and everything, different thing. My mother's sister had a store over there, and it was very difficult, this one, to have them over there. And I kept them over there hiding because I was afraid that they're gonna take it because they was under the age. So I kept them over there. And after this, I got frightened, and I had to take them out with me. I took them out to survive the kids because I didn't take them to the stadium. In the stadium, they would kill them right away and everything. So we kept it, everything, trying to save somebody and everything. And people tried to save it. And I tried to save it, my mother, to save it. But it was very difficult. Very, very difficult and very this one. You know, it was 20,000 people on the stadium. And it was raining a day before. It was very slippery, it was very muddy and everything. And you had no choice, you cannot go out because everything was fenced in. You know, all
So I want to go on.
All the forests and all everything was, police was standing around. So you couldn't run out and you couldn't go away.
But then you had a conversation with when you found your mother and father, you had a conversation with them, and you decided that you would try to take the three other,
the youngest,
and take them with you out of and maybe they would be allowed to work. What happened when you left the stadium, when you were marching to go to the work camp? What happened to your siblings? What did you do with them?
Nothing. I closed them up in a shack room.
No, you're Natan and Estusha. When you were walking, you pushed them in the garden.
Yeah, I pushed them in the garden. We had a very big garden over there, and I pushed them in the garden over there. And I don't know myself what's gonna happen to them. And my older sister, too, Vida Malka, I put them I put them over there too, and I have them there. At least she'll end up with another one. Over the two end up with nobody. And another thing was my mother's sister, 2 kids, too.
Okay.
So I keep them all together and to save them all together.
So what?
The very difficult part.
They're going to ask a question now.
So Myra, I know that when you went to the labor camp, you were in charge of these 3 big machines. And as, you know, a petite young woman, you were somehow, I'm amazed at how you were able to handle these dangerous machines. How can you tell us a bit about that process and what your role was and what you did?
Yeah, the problem was because I was always helping out my parents, my father.
You're talking about Grunberg now, the machines, the 3 big machines.
Yeah, wait.
Okay.
Because I used to help out my father all the time. My father used to get up 5 o'clock, and I used to get up 5 o'clock, and I went with him to the bakery and everything. I try my parents to help them out in the store a lot. And after this one, and my mother was very active. My mother spoke Russian, she spoke Jewish, she spoke Hebrew and everything. She was very, very educated woman. And people knew her from the First World War and everything.
But we're in Grunberg now. We wanted to ask you about what
And
it was like to work all those 3 big machines
all
and
of
how
a
big
sudden,
they were.
All of a sudden, they took us down to the Dulac. And in Dulac, we was all put together. And after they put us to the train. Even my husband tried to buy me out with money. It was too late already, couldn't do nothing and everything. So I'll end up, all of a sudden I'll end up in Greenberg in concentration camp. There was a textile factory and everything. And all of a sudden they took off our clothes and they checked our body and everything. And it was very difficult, you know, to get a dress, and men standing around and everything, this one. Just, you had no choice, you know, you had to do it. They took it away our clothes, and they gave us clothes from the camp. And so we put it up to the clothes from the camp. And after this, next day we went to work. They brought us over there to the factory. It was a textile factory. They brought us over there and they showed us how to work on the machines. The machines was very big. I don't know how to say it, bigger than this room.
Bigger than a living room.
You know, and everything. And I tried very hard to learn how this one. I was very good with machines and with the hands to work. Some girls was not, and some girls was lazy, and they didn't like it, you know. In one time, the machine, the waltzes didn't work. The machine didn't work. So he went and he came over there. The one was very bad. We call them gambler, you know, chin. And after that, he came over and he took the part and he wanted to throw it to me because it didn't work proper. Meantime, he threw this one, broke the window from the building, broke the window and didn't come out because it was just 3/4. So they didn't come out, the bolts didn't come out, and broke the window and everything. So the foreman came over and he said, what's going on? And I told him this one. And the machine cut my clothes, and I was dressed up and I was just in panties, standing. So he took over his apron and put it on me because I was standing just in panties. And this is the way the life went. And after this, I worked the whole day. And after we went in the evening, when we finished, we went back to the factory. We was in the factory and went to work.
Can you tell us how they almost wanted to, the time when they
have to be
amputate? Can you tell us the story about how when your arm got injured and that they wanted to amputate your arm?
Yeah.
And they amputated other prisoners.
I was already working in the factory over a year, and all of a sudden, you know, they want you to clean the factory, do the machine and everything. So you try your best and everything, and I learned how to do it. And I was very handy because I was very handy with machines and everything. And all of a sudden, my apron got cut, my apron got cut. So I had to take it off the apron because if not, I would be grind up completely. So this one, I take it over, and I put the apron. I was standing just this one, so he gave me his apron with buttons down, and I put it on.
So how did you injure your hand?
This was a little bit later.
So and that's what they wanted to ask about the
and
injured
after
hand.
This one, I was working over there and everything, and it was the machine was working, was going, and I tried to fix it, the machine, and all of a sudden I got cut, and the machine injured my hand, and I couldn't work, couldn't this one just with one hand and everything. And the foreman said, "How can you do it?" And I said, "I'm gonna try it." And the pieces was big, like, I don't know what else.
Like 2 dining room tables?
Yeah, the table, and there was a lot of folds like this, like from the floor to here.
They were really, really large machines, like
very large machine. Three machines to handle.
Like a dining room table, 2 dining room tables, and high, each machine.
You know, and everything. This one, so we tried to work it, and the thread was going to the spinnery to another one, and the foreman from the spinnery working other girls, and he said he's gonna break the lungs from everyone. They're not gonna make it, nobody. And it was very difficult. You work very hard, and a lot of time he used to beat them up and everything.
So what happened with your hand? So it was injured. What did you do about it?
And I got it over there. The machine, I was cleaning the machine. I was laying underneath from the machine. There was 3 machines like this, very heavy one. And all of a sudden, the foreman went and started the machine. And started the machine, it cut my hand and everything. And I was standing, shivering like this one. And all of a sudden, the blood was coming out from the hand, and I couldn't move and couldn't this one. Just God was watching over me that he didn't rip off the whole hand, because almost I thought so that I'm gonna lose the hand and everything. And after this, we tried very hard.
You went to the nurses.
I went to the nurses. I went to the nurse downstairs.
What did she say?
Francisca was her name, Francisca. And she said, and she put at a small little table with all instruments and everything. And she said, you know, I think so the best thing is cut it off the hand. Cut it off the hand, this is past the elbow and everything. And the instruments was standing over there by me. And I said, is it to cut it off? They're gonna send me away anyway. So I took this one and I put it in my hand. And the hand started to bleed terrible and everything coming out. And this one. And she came over and she hit me and she said, why you did it this? I said, you told me that you're gonna cut it off the hand. So I did it this. So we work, I was this one, after they brought me to camp, the bandage over, she bandaged over and everything. And I came over to the camp and I didn't realize, and I kept on asking, where's my hand, where's my hand, where's my hand? And they all said, you have the hand, you have your hand. And I hope so this gonna heal very, very well. So I work, and I went to work 2 days later, because I went to work, because if you don't go to work, So there was very part, so they send you away. And I work over there in the camp. And after this, we tried very hard to work. They don't see it, I'm not capable in everything.
The man who, Gembler, how do you pronounce?
Gembelo.
Yes, so I know that after...
Chin.
Yes, Chin, after the war, I know that you saw him and you were given the chance, someone told you to shoot him, but you said no. Do you ever regret not taking that revenge?
No, it was different. I was walking over there, and on the railroad is some little houses where they're fixing their tracks. And all of a sudden, I opened up the door, and I saw him inside. And I said, and I called up a Polish policeman. I called him. He was right on the tracks over there. And I told them, take a look who is here. Go arrest him, because he killed a lot of girls and everything. So he arrested him over there. And he said, I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. And they wanted me to go and to beat him up. And I didn't want to go to this one. I told him, I leave it to you. And he was wearing a Polish uniform, you know, so I didn't know what's gonna be, you know. And I told him, this, I know what to do and everything. And my hand was all bandaged because my hand was injured. The machine cut the hand.
But did you ever think of hurting him? No.
I know I wanted other people to hurt him. I couldn't hurt him, you know. So I had a whole wound. The machine cut the hand, and it's this one. It was bleeding and everything.
I can ask you another question now.
So Myra, can you tell us a little bit about the escape from the death march and the time that you were hiding in the the freezing forest, but also what was going through your head in that split second where you saw you had an opportunity to run? Because I know that the SS were surrounding the death march, and if you would have tried to escape, they would have shot you. And you did say that you saw a lot of girls get shot, so you were able to run with one of your friends without...
We walked out in January 25th. We was walking over there and everything. We didn't have no warm clothes, no nothing. I came home from work, and all of a sudden the German said to me, you're not going to sleep. You have to go inside to the room and I sorted the clothes. So I said, I just came from work. He said, you have to go over there. So I went over there, and I was lucky because when this one, they took it and they took over there, and I as to sorted the clothes. So I put the shoes separate, the half shoes, men's shoes, everything was meant for the soldiers. And after I put it, the clothes, so I put it the pants separate, and I put it this one, and it was very good. And I put on a pair of pants on this one, and I put on a jacket with a zipper, a ski jacket, and I had a pair of shoes because we was wearing shoes, wooden shoes with opening in the back. So when you was walking in the snow was very high. There was like 6-7 inches snow, and we had to walk over there. So you lost the shoes. You lost because the back was open and everything. I tried very hard, and I kept it this one and everything, and I have the men's shoes. So I was lucky. I was cold, and I was lucky. And we kept on walking. And all of a sudden, we walked, I think so it was January 20, no, it was February the 3rd. And the German went over and he told us, we're stopping here. So we stopped over there. We sit down over there. And he said to this one, we gonna wait a few minutes. You can rest a few minutes, this one. And we went over there and we sit down over there. And all of a sudden, because the German went over there to the other side forest, I tried to make it and to see it what he's gonna do it. So he went, I think so he went to urinate or something. And all of a sudden I moved into the forest and I got lost in the forest. And nobody saw it. And after maybe 10, maybe I have 10, 20 minutes, all of a sudden he came running back because two girls ran away from the group and they was in the forest. And he came back over there and he got them. He got them and he said, where you want to go? Where you going? And everything. So they said, no, nothing. We was not going. We want to just go to the bathroom. And he took it and said, they got it news that the husband is alive. And if the husband is alive, he can help him a lot, the German. So he would help him a lot and they would survive and everything. So everything, this one, and he went and he shot them, the two. And I saw it from far away because I was in a hole where the tree was ripped out and the roots was out, sticking out. So I saw it everything, and I left, and I lay in a hole where a tree ripped out with the roots and everything. And I saw it when he shot them. They kissed him, they begged him and everything, nothing. He shot them to death. And they said they're gonna help him a lot and everything. There's nothing helped. You know, they was laying over there and everything. And I was when on the hall with the roots from the tree, and he didn't see me. He went away. And after he went away, I lived in the forest. And I was the forest a whole 2 days. 2 days.
What did you eat?
Yeah.
What did you eat? How did you survive? How did you get food while
I ate the snacks. I ate the snacks and I ate the grass and the roots. Nothing else was to eat. You know, you cannot, you couldn't, there was a forest. You was lucky that you didn't see the big animals, you know, to bite you. Because there was a lot of big animals and it was very rough, you know. I lived 3 days in the forest. And after finally, I saw a big chimney and I looked it over and it was a big chimney. And I said, I am freezing, I'm cold. I'm gonna go over and knock the door. And I knocked the door and a short woman walked over and she opened the door and she said, oh my goddess, Will, you look like a dead person. I said, I just needed a place where to lay down. And she said, so come on in. So I said, I cannot come in because I don't have no papers and I cannot come in. Maybe you have an attic. And I would drop this one. She said, cross the street is the attic where we keep the hay for the cows and for the pigs and for everything. So I said, this would be very good. But meantime, I met 3 other girls in the forest, and I told them to wait till I straight out what she wants to do it. And after I took them upstairs before I went upstairs, and she gave me some bread and she gave me some this one food, and I took it everything upstairs and I brought them upstairs over there. And I don't have papers. But later on, a woman, she was from Bielsko. She was from Bielsko, no, not from Bielsko.
Poznan.
She was from Poznan. And she said she know that I don't have no papers and she's gonna call the police. So I was very frightened and I was very afraid that she's gonna do it and gonna this one. So I said, the woman wanted me to stay by her in the house. And I said, nothing, I'm going away. So I went upstairs to the girls and I told them we have to go. And we went out and we was walking to 2 miles in the night, and finally, and the girls, they got very this one. They was upstairs, and downstairs was a barricade, and they was talking. They could talk with a Polish guy. He has a P over there, and the Polish guy was taking care of the horses, And I got up in the morning. I was feeding the pigs and the cows and everything. Tried to make it myself busy, and we walked out over there because we was afraid that they're gonna bring the police, and they're gonna, because we don't have no papers. Because one woman said so, that she's gonna call the police. And after we walked out 5 o'clock in the morning, and it was January 25th, it was dark and everything. And we walked far. So the 3 girls, what was upstairs, I was feeding the cows and everything, and the other one, what was upstairs, they started to talk with the Polish guy, and with the Polish guy, and they made a place where to go. And they didn't say nothing to me, and I didn't know about this. And all of a sudden we walked in the night, 5 o'clock in the morning in January. It was beginning February already. And I was very frightened, and was cold, freezing cold and everything. And they said, we walked maybe 2 miles, and all of a sudden they said, we have a place right here, and we're going in. But just for us 3, not for you. And I cried, and I begged them, and I said to them, well, what am I going to do it? I kept you food, I brought you food, I brought you everything. And now all of a sudden you want to leave me on the street all alone and everything. It's no room for you over there. It's just room for 2 people, not for 3 people, not for you. All right, I cry and everything. They went away. They closed up the shack and everything, and that's all. And I kept on walking. And all of a sudden I saw the wagon with a guy with a P. And all of a sudden I started to talk Polish. I stopped him and I begged him, and I said, I am a lost person and I can speak Polish, and and maybe you can help me. So he said, yeah, I work here on the farm, further down. When I throw out everything, the dirt from the wagon, I come back. But it took so long that I didn't think so that I ever make it, that he ever gonna come back and everything. Oh, but he came back and he took me, and he told me this, over there is a lot of people working because there's a lot of cows. It's a big farmhouse and everything. And there was they was working over there, and they got this one. Just I have to try to hide it and not to say nothing. So we went over, and we came over, and I was over there by the Polish guy. The Polish guy was very nice. I was with another girl, Basha, and she was hungry, and he got it. He brought it. He brought it. The French, how you call them?
Oh, shishlik.
Shishlik, you know. He brought it for lunch because they was eating lunch over there in the farm, because there was a lot of Polish people. Just he didn't want to know this. We are over there, all right. And the Polish people and everything, and we was over there hiding. And after that, we tried to work, because all of a sudden the other girl, what she went with me, he had what is the Kluski, no, how you call this?
What?
Kind of,
She got sick?
no, she ate something, what he got it for lunch and everything, and she got sick, she got diarrhea. But he was a nice guy, Bolek, and he took it, and he took the pail and throw it out, and brought the pail back. I didn't touch nothing and I didn't eat nothing and everything. So he said, you're gonna starve, you're gonna die like this. I said, I cannot eat because maybe I get diarrhea and everything.
How long did you stay on the farm? 3 months?
On the farm, 3 months I stayed.
And I know you sent a letter home to see, looking out for any survivors from your family, and that led to your husband, Henry, your future husband at the time, who found you. Could you tell us a bit about how he found you and the moment you reunited?
I wrote a letter and I sent it to the super over there from our house. And I said, I'm Blackie Rainer and Helena's daughter, and if anybody's alive, he has to come and get me because I cannot, because the Russian already came and freed over there the territory. And the Russian was a little bit tough with the woman, so it was very difficult to hide and everything. All right, he got the letter, and my husband.
The super got the letter, yeah.
The super got the letter, and my husband, he was in Auschwitz, and from Auschwitz, he got it. He was, Auschwitz is Poland. I was in Germany. I was past Breslau. I was closer to Berlin, and everything. And all of a sudden, I told them where I am, but it's very difficult because was no trains was working, no this one. I couldn't go to Poland because the people from the army would molest you.
So what did Daddy do? He kept coming back to your house to see if anyone survived.
And Henry, my husband, he went to the super, he went to the building to look for me and everything. So the super said, I have a letter from Myra. So he took the letter, and he was asking where I am and everything. No, he went out and it was very difficult because there was no places where to understand where you are. Was no signs, no nothing, everything was a difficult thing. And all of a sudden, and I was over there and everything, and finally this one was this, when all of a sudden on the street, and this was a small town, and all the Germans sent out the German people farther away because the Russian was coming over there. And he sent it out and everything. And we was over there, we was trying to win. We was in the forest, hiding not to catch, the Russians catch us. We walked over there and everything. And the Russian came over there, which took over the farm. There was a big farm over there, a lot of cows and everything, and this one. And I was alone over there with the Basha. And Basha was not a help, nothing, and everything, and was trying to this one. And she spoke Polish with the accent, It was very difficult. I spoke a very good Polish and everything.
How long did the letter go? Took 2 months, right?
The letter 3 months.
Okay.
And I was 3 months with the Polish people, and the Polish people didn't know this, I was Jewish.
Uh-huh. Speak up a little so they can hear.
And everybody thought that I was Polish and everything. And I didn't find out. And I lived with them. And nobody knew it as I was Jewish because I spoke a very good Polish and everything. And after that, all of a sudden comes a guy, and I went, they were short in flour and bread. So they came over and they said, somebody has to go over to the store over there, to the bakery, and to bring something to eat because we have nothing more to eat more. So Myra speaks good Polish, let her go. All right, so I went and I took Basha with me. And I brought it, picked it up and everything. And all of a sudden a guy comes over and he said, "Where's Myra?" And they said, "She went for bread for us to have it." And he said, "There's a guy walking over there on the town, and he has a letter in the hand and he's waving the letter, and it's Myra's handwriting. And he went over and he said to him, he said, "I know the woman from the letter, what she wrote." And he said, "Oh, okay." He just live over there and everything. And he brought them over where we was living and everything. And after that, he came in and he said, "You better go home, because if not, nobody gonna know who he is and everything." All right, he came over. I was over there already, and he said he's a American soldier.
Because he was wearing a uniform, right?
Yeah, because he was wearing a uniform, because he was in Auschwitz, so he was wearing a uniform. But he was not wearing the from Auschwitz, this one, he was wearing a Polish uniform and everything. And all of a sudden, and they came over and they said the no in the Polish army and everything, and he's gonna try to help me. And he was over there and everything, and we walked, and he said, "We can walk with him together and everything, and we be saved." Because you couldn't go with the bus, you couldn't go with the Russians.
What did you think when you saw Daddy, when you first saw him?
I was shocked, and I couldn't this one tell, because he didn't speak a good Polish. And I have to be very careful, because I told him I was Polish and everything. And he came, and I said, "It's my friend." I said, "My cousin." And the cousin was looking for me because he survived and nobody else survived. "Myra, where you going?" "You're not going." Because he came the day, and in the morning, 5 o'clock, I left. And he said, "You're not leaving, Myra, Irene." And I said, "I have to leave because I would like her to go home and see about my parents or my little sister and my little brother." And he said, "No, you're supposed to stay with us." I said, "I cannot do it. I can give you the others where I'm staying, where I'm going. I'm going to Poland, to Sosnowiec. And if you wanted, you can come with me and everything." So my ears are ringing. Yeah. So I went over there, and I got it, and we would end up, took us a long time to go. And the people came over there on the farm, and they found me, with the Basha. They found me, and Henry came too. And all of a sudden, we got dressed, and we left 5 o'clock in the morning.
It's very telling that, not telling, it's very nice that she's sharing this story, because actually today, well, tonight is no longer, but last night and today was my father's 4th yahrzeit. And they were together a very long time. So it's a very nice way to have the Zoom to honor his memory for all of us.
And this beautiful photo of the two of you.
Wedding photo. And then you continued life in Germany after the war, and you had a beautiful little girl named Helena that you named after your mother, who tragically passed away when she was 2.5 when you were still in Germany. Mm-hmm. How were you able to rebuild after that? How were you able to?
I came to Germany.
The question was really, how did you go on after Helena?
Very difficult, because my husband had 6 brothers and 1 sister, and nobody was survived. It was a very difficult life. When Poland was very different, because in Poland, a lot of people didn't survive. There were single people, one was holding to the other one. That was a very difficult part. was not easy. And the Polish people didn't like it that you survived. They would like it to kill you. The only thing, I spoke a very good Polish. So with me, they didn't know if I'm Jewish or Polish, you know. I spoke very good and everything. So we tried very hard. This was very difficult to be and everything. And after this, we picked ourselves up and we left. We opened up stores in Germany. We opened up stores. I went to Munich. I got papers and everything, a permit, and we opened up the stores. And we had business and everything. I didn't want to live from the committee to give me to eat and then to clothes and everything. And after this, later on, we tried to, when child was born, and after we lost her, and she was buried in Nuremberg, in Fürth on the Jewish cemetery and everything. And we decided to leave Germany and to go to America. It was very, very difficult, it was not easy and everything. But we did it, and we made it, you know. And Henry had something, a black spot on the lung, because he was working in a coal mine. And they said, I was afraid that he's not gonna go through. So they said, it's very difficult. Just, I bought it from somebody else, papers from the lungs. And I gave them the papers and everything, and Henry went through with me together. So we went through, and we was in Germany, and we settled in Munich. And after from Munich, we went to Regensburg, and we opened up business over there. I got it. I went over there, got it, papers, permits, and we left. We opened 3 stores, a textile store, a grocery wholesale, in a vegetable store. And we opened, and we was working. And nobody believed it. And then we was 2 o'clock used to come the vegetable from Yugoslavia, from this one, and they say, you are Holocaust survivors. Why 2 o'clock in the night you lifting big packages and big boxes? I said, I cannot have nobody 2 o'clock in the night. And we have to empty out because the tracks have to be clean. So we have to do it. And they was looking at us, the Germans, they couldn't believe it. As Holocaust people work 2 o'clock in the night and empty out the tracks that the trains could go on and everything. And we was over there in Regensburg, we settled up. And after we got an apartment, and we live over there in Regensburg. And after I found out my brothers came from Russia, and I helped them to come to Germany, because this one, to Germany and everything, this one. And we settled in Regensburg. We lived a long time in Regensburg. We opened up a textile store, a grocery store,
and then after
and everything. And after when the baby was born and everything, and she died, we decided to go away from over there. She was buried in Fürth, on the Jewish cemetery and everything. And we registered, and we went back from Nuremberg to
America.
To America.
January 31st.
Yeah. We went in the last day what our papers was value.
Wow.
We left January 31st.
1951.
1951. And we came to America here, and we got some money. We gave it to somebody, this one. Just was a very difficult life. Very difficult. I didn't speak no English. My husband didn't speak English and everything. We tried everything to this one to work and everything. And we came to America. We got an apartment finally and everything. And after we started to work, So Daddy started to work in the Jewish Gemeinde and everything, and brought some grocery over there. And I started to work to organize with fixing. I bought a machine for $25, and I tried to work it for the raincoats to make shorten them, or make it longer, make it shorter, and everything. And this is the way the life. And after we opened up our stores and everything, and we was living in Regensburg.
No, you're now in Springfield.
But somebody actually had, because we have some questions. Somebody wants to know, someone named Chris Lindler wants to know how you felt, how it was when you made the decision to settle down in Germany, and what was the heart of Nazi territory while just right after liberation. How did that feel to make that decision? Was it the only place you could go? Why there?
Was very difficult life.
I'm going to answer that. They went there because it was in the American zone of occupation, and the Americans had food. And that was the best, out of the 4 different divisions of Russia, France, and England, it was best to be in the American zone, and they had the most food and the most support for the
Jewish Gemeinde.
You know, so that's why they went there. Yeah. And it was very hard to stay in Poland. It was very unfriendly after the war.
In the second part, people from Regensburg used to be a lot of Jewish people before the war. And so we settled in Regensburg because we thought that we found some American Jewish people, we find some other one, this one. Well, you know, it's very difficult when you don't speak English.
No, we're in Germany now. They're asking questions of you, different people. So we're going to wait for the next question, okay? Sorry.
Can you tell us a little bit about what happened in Springfield? You and your husband were incredible in advocating for the bill against working on Sunday, because you weren't allowed to have your store open on Sunday, which was a horrible thing for Jewish religious people because they weren't working on Saturday either. So I think it was in the 60s, right? I mean, you could tell the story, Belinda, to the viewers.
I got dressed and I went to Munich.
Wait. So my parents had a small store that was buffeted by urban renewal situations. It was not in a great neighborhood. It was a struggle. And they were not allowed to work on Saturday or Sunday.
No, Saturday because we was Sabbath observers.
We were Sabbath observers, and Sunday you weren't allowed in Catholic Massachusetts. And somehow, I don't know where they got the wherewithal, but they went and they sued the state of Massachusetts.
What year?
Permission to allow people who didn't have the store open on Saturday, that they could be open on Sunday. And they ultimately won their case, which is unbelievable. This was probably I believe this was 1966, 67. And they really were tenacious on their battle with it. They got a lawyer who believed in them, and they went all the way to the Massachusetts Supreme Court and won their case.
I went to Munich. I had to go to Munich.
We're in Springfield now. We're talking about.
I went to make the papers to have opened, to have the store. I went to Munich.
Really, it was Springfield. We went to Boston, but I just wanted to.
Boston, I want to say.
Boston.
So do you recall what somebody named Sammy Feldman wants to know? Do you recall what street you lived on in Sosnovich and what synagogue you attended?
Which time? Give her the 2 addresses. 2 addresses in Sosnovich where you lived.
Sosnovich? I live on Piłsudska 64.
And then in the ghetto?
In Sosnovich.
And then in the ghetto?
In the ghetto, I was the same thing.
Targova 21.
Targova 21. Yeah. I was.
Rachel Ashendorf wants to know if you raised your children speaking about the Holocaust. Did you tell them about it since they were born? How was it like in your house growing up with 2 survivor parents?
I always talked to the children and told them the story and everything, and very difficult. The children know it and everything. The funny part is, I was in the, over there in the small town in Germany, and the guy came over and he said, you know, Myra, there's a guy walking over there and he's holding a letter, and the letter is you letter.
And we're gonna
Yeah.
try to focus on the question. So you always told us, you never,
Yeah.
she
I never
actually
hide it.
grilled us on
I
it.
always have open, and I always used to say, that I come from Poland, and I am this one, and I
No.
was working here, and I would like it to go home.
No, we're talking now about how you raised Lily and me, Mel, and you always told us about the Holocaust. You
Yeah.
never
hide it.
Never hid it. You told us every detail that you could remember.
Yeah. I
So-
always kept
She's
talking and telling the children that I was a Holocaust survivor, and that we was hiding and everything, and I was working on a farm
okay.
and everything.
She's going to ask another question,
Yeah.
Rachel or Jill.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I know, well, somebody asked, named Allison said, so of course you shared with your family and you always made sure your children knew, but what made you decide to write your memoir now versus several years ago?
Why did you write it now?
I will write it now because the time is getting closer for me and everything. And the children know everything because I always talk about this. And I always explained to them and told them everything was going on with me and everything. And time to write, God forbid if I die, does the kids, does the people know what was going on. It was very difficult life and very hard life. It was not easy. And it's, thank God as I survived. And I never believed that as I survived because I was in the forest and I was eating the snakes and everything. So it was very difficult life.
And you were one of the, I know a lot of survivors stayed connected to Judaism, but they didn't stay so religious. Was it hard for you to remain religious even right after the war and throughout your life?
I'll be honest, in Regensburg was hard, but was not so this one. Just I didn't have nobody because when I ran away, I was alone.
Talking about religion. How you and
Absolutely.
Daddy always stayed
Yeah.
religious. You never
Yeah.
you never
Yeah.
diverted
And
from
my
that.
husband, we came to Regensburg, so my husband went to the old age home, and nobody was over there in the old age home. And finally he asked the Jewish Gemeinde, if there's any Jewish people to make a minyan. So my husband made a minyan, and everything, people started to come, and everything get together, and after we tried to make it, we open up stores, business.
We're talking really about how you stayed religious, even though many survivors had a challenge to stay religious.
No, my husband was in the yeshiva, in Lublin yeshiva, and we tried to keep it, everything in this one. And now with the children, we wanted us the children know about Judaism and to know about the family and everything. So thank God, everybody we remain like this. The only thing is I lost my husband, and a child I lost her too, and she's buried in Fürth in Germany, where is a Jewish cemetery and everything. And it's very difficult. You put a monument and everything, but the life is very difficult.
So
You can ask another question.
somebody, Jonathan Friedman wants to know if you ever went back to Poland to visit where you grew up, and did you ever show your family?
I took my kids to Poland. I took my daughters, I took my son, I took them to Poland. I showed them where I lived, where I was born, where I was sleeping even. I put them. And I showed them on this stadium too, where all the 20,000 Jews was over there and everything. I showed the children completely everything, what they did with the Jewish people, with everything and everything. Just I didn't go, I went away. I didn't go because later they send them out, the Jewish people from the stadium, to send them out to a different ghetto.
Right. So
Yeah.
you went back. She might have gone back maybe 4 times.
And she was on the first March of the Living, right? It was in the book.
They landed up being there with, yeah.
First
They
one,
landed up, they didn't plan it, but they landed up being there. They were like,
1988, I think.
yep.
Yeah. First.
They didn't even know that it was happening. They just happened to fall onto it.
Well, you know, what's amazing is some people here are asking questions about, because they have family who's from Sosnovich. So somebody here just said, they said that their family was your neighbor. Did you know Benjamin Sabis or Helena Podelsky? They were your neighbors before the war.
So this is, remember, we just connected through the book, well, through, not the book, through a Facebook group of Benjamin Sosnovich Katovitz. Their grandfather lived next door to my mother's family, and she does remember them. And we've been in contact
Wow.
in the last month, back and forth about different things that she remembers about them, including that they had one of their uncles was a math genius, and they had no idea.
You know, it was very difficult.
She remembered him. She remembered the grandfather and the family.
And when you went back, I know that you saw there was a chair. You were telling us actually earlier this week, a chair that belonged to your father that someone saved in Poland. Could you tell us a bit about
It was her husband.
My grandfather.
Yeah, this is Daddy's.
Yeah, my husband's father used to go into the people, neighbors, and use the chair over there and used to daven by them in the house because he was afraid that somebody gonna see him. And she put them in the room where she had no windows over there, so nobody could see him outside. You know.
She saved the chair.
She saved the chair, but we didn't take it. We wanted to take it, but it was very difficult.
This is the chair that when they went back to Poland to her husband's parents' house, her husband's neighbor's house, they said this was the chair that the grandfather used to sit in and daven in to hide.
What she said to us, a neighbor, she said that she saved it for, I don't know what it was, 45, 50 years, on the hopes that somebody would come back. From my father's town, only 3 Jews ever survived, and he was the first one who ever came back to the town. So she held it, hoping that somebody would come back from the Jewish community and she would be able to give it to them.
And I feel very bad too, because I didn't go back and take the chair. You know, it was a very difficult part. It was not easy.
And can you tell us what your message is for the future generation?
You see, this
was a message. You talked about it before.
Yeah.
What is that?
This was a small town.
No, we're going to talk about your message because we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
Time.
I live in a big city, in Sosnovich, and everything. My mother was born over there too. My grandparents built buildings over there. So it's very difficult for us, this one. So we knew very well Poland, you know, and everything. It was not easy, this one. It was not easy, and I hope so, that with God's help, we went away, and other people went away and remain. So I hope that everybody's well.
What is your message? You wanted to tell people
and
to
I don't
work
think
hard.
so any Jewish people remain over there.
You talked to me before, you said that you did have a message and you wanted to tell people that they should fight for their lives, fight for everything.
No.
You told me that your message would be that you should fight as hard as you can for what the things you want.
Yeah.
Never give up.
You know, we fought the whole time. I fought all the time. I was in forest, I was this one, I was hiding, and everything was together. Thank God I met my husband and everything. And it was very, very good, because alone I could never make it. I could never make it. So we made it together, and we got married in Poland.
What is your message to the young people?
The message for young people: try to stay Jewish. Don't lose your religion, because You lose your religion, you lose everything. And the main thing is most important to keep it up in everything. And with God's help, you see it, other people gonna combine with you and gonna help you to be more in the religion, to build it up.
And to fight for what you
and
believe
to
in.
fight for the future. And we fought for the future, you know, we was in Poland, and after we went to Germany, we opened up stores in Germany.
Did you have a good life?
We had a very good life. In the beginning, it was very hard, very difficult.
But you had a good
And
life.
when I came to the city hall in Germany, and I said, I needed 3 permits. And they said, why 3 permits? I said, I wanted to open my vegetable store, I want to open my textile store, and I wanted to open another one, something, grocery store, you know? And they said, how are you going to make it? I said, I was brought up like this, and I know very well about business and everything, and I needed to make a living. I don't want it from the city. I have to make a living and everything, so we supposed to have it this one. If my husband used to go on the street, the old German used to take off the hat and breathe at him. Herr geehrter Herr Rosenblatt, you know?
Okay, they're going to ask another question,
Yeah.
I think. I wanted just to say one thing, that as we did this book together, my mother's memory was really amazing on her detail, as you see when you read it. But what was even more amazing for me personally was that I was able to verify and corroborate, I would say close to 90% of everything she was saying. There was enough documentation out there. There was enough ways to even the most specific details that she told me, I was able to clarify that those did indeed happen. And I felt that that was a very important contribution in terms of Holocaust studies and validation.
See, I want to tell you something, because we was living in Germany, you know, and Germany did a lot of bad because my parents was killed and everybody this one. Just we was very close with the German people and everything, and it was very close with us. And they tried very, very hard to do anything to help us and everything. And we was not living on a government, because a lot of people live on the government. They got it from government money, they got that food from the government. We never did it, nothing. We always went to work, and I got it, and I went to Munich, and I got the permit for the business, and everything was for this one.
Okay. Thank you.
The German Jews.
Hold on, she's going to talk.
Thank you so much. This has been such an honor. And I know that many of you, we didn't get to your questions, but we will try to answer them later. We can send you a message. There's so many questions, and Myra, you are so inspiring. And actually, one last question we have to ask, because somebody, I think named Grace or Gracie, asked, what is your secret? How do you stay so young and beautiful?
You know, I was working very hard.
Climbing over snowdrifts to get the vaccine today. That's how she stays young and beautiful.
I was working very hard. I was working in the house. I had my...
You got a compliment. Say thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. You know, I brought my brothers. My brothers came back from Russia, and I brought them this one, and I helped them to make out papers that they can go to America. You know, it was not easy. It was a very serious things, you know. But thank God, I brought them to America, and they are here and everything. And let's hope so that the Jewish people understand to keep up still the religion, if you're still Jewish, and try to continue and try to be honest in everything.
Do you want to thank everyone for listening to you?
And I want to thank you for anybody who listened to me and everything. Maybe I don't speak so proper, so right. This one, beautiful. I remember everything.
Thank you so much. And you really are.
A very difficult life.
Okay, 1 second.
And if anyone wants to know more about her story, it's really an incredible, incredible story. Her book is called Strength, My Memoir, and it's on Amazon available. It's really one of the most amazing memoirs I've read. I also want to thank Susan Sclaren, who connected me to Belinda, and that's how this all started. And thankfully, we were able to make this a big event with Yad Vashem, and it's incredible that we had almost, I think, over 250 people watching. And that's really the goal, is to just keep remembering and keep hearing as many testimonies as we can. And yeah, thank you so much. We can't thank you enough. You're really
welcome. Thank you very much and everything. I think so, because I was in Yad Vashem too, interviewed.
Yes.
Interviewed some papers in Yad Vashem too. I wanted very much, because the Jewish people don't forget, and the young people don't forget what was going on. Because I don't know, it's 1/3 or one was survived. Everybody was killed. It was very difficult part what was going on. Germany was cleaning up the Jewish people how much they could.
Well, you've done an amazing contribution, Mom.
And I try to make it very hard that the people understand, God forbid if something happened like this, not to hide it, that you're Jewish, and try to keep it, that everybody survive. And I hope so, that people keep their religion, not hiding and go away.
Okay. And you could
thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're
so there's people gonna understand to keep their religion.
The religion.
Your friends from the Saxony Hotel say hi, and they're proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you very
good
much.
Times. Good times. Those were the good
very
times.
Nice. There was very good time.
Good times. Thank you very much.
We used to go to Saxony very much.
Mm-hmm.
Very much. They used to take my husband as Moshe Chaim, you know, Berkovich. They used to, because he resembled him. And he was over there, he knew everything. So they used to remember him very well.
Those were good days.
Yeah, we had very good time in the hotel in Saxony. What was it? Brooklyn? I don't forgot already.
The Cats or
in Miami.
Oh, in Miami. I thought you also
we was in the Saxony. We was in the other one too.
Majestic later.
Majestic, you know. We was always in the Crown.
The Crown.
Crown.
The Crown.
You know.
Okay.
We was very close. Even Moshe Chaim was very close. Berkovich was very close with my husband.
I just want to say one thing. Although my mother loves people. She loves people, and she loves people no matter who they are, what religion, what race, what color, what age. She just loves people. And that love makes people respond to her. And she's learned in life that people are good or bad, and you have no idea. And it's not their race or ethnicity or color or sex or anything that makes that. It's just some are good and some are bad. But anyways, I just wanted to let you know.
I remember you wanted to talk a little bit, I mean, for whoever is left and wants to listen, but about how COVID has affected survivors, especially during this horrible time. And we have to try and, the whole point of COVID is being isolated from people. So it's especially hard right now.
You have to understand, we were 6 kids home, 3 brothers and 3 sisters. And it was everybody this one. My mother was very educated. My mother spoke Russian, Polish, Jewish, Esperanto, So she was very educated. We were brought up with respect, with everything, And we tried. I helped out in the store very much. Very much.
It's just a year, COVID, and she's done great with it.
And my mother came very good, and I hope so that God give to all the people who survive to keep up the religion and keep up the future.
Well, it's because of people like you who inspire us to do so. So thank you.
Thank you very much too. And it's very good that the young people know it what was going on, not to forget this, and to know it, and to keep the religion together.
Thank you so much for putting this together.
Thank you very much.
Stay well, stay healthy, stay safe.
As you be well, and you have a lot of luck and all a beautiful future.
Amen.
Jewish people have
and your book is here forever, so it's gonna stay. We're gonna pass it around to anyone who wants to read it. It's always gonna be here, and it's a testament to your incredible life. And we're gonna post this recording. This has actually been recorded, so if anyone wants it, they can ask us, and we can send them a recording. We also recorded some of it on our phones, so we could post it on social media. That's why my phone was there, if people were wondering. So we are just so grateful for you, and we thank you so much, and you should live ad mea vestrim.
I just want to tell you something. When I survived, and everything, I tried very much. I was talking all the time about everything, what we went through and everything. And was very important, I was in the forest, and I was laying in the forest and eating the grass and the snakes, and I told everybody the same thing. I don't know why I survived, and everything. But with the children, when the children was born, I told the children right away everything, all the stories from my home and everything. I have a very good home. My mother was everything. They never, this one, educated. And I wanted that the people know it, that we have to hold on together and everything, and to hope that we're going to have a future with God's help. In Israel, be a strong pair, a strong state, and gonna be strong and live forever.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening and everything, because we have to share it. And we have to tell. Everybody's dying, and nobody this one, and nobody gonna know nothing. But I try to share it with the children and tell them everything. So I hope so there's something be this one. And this is the reason why my husband found me. When we came back to Poland and we wanted to get married, we couldn't find 10 people to the wedding. So somebody went outside in Benjin, because I came back to Poland, in Benjin, and was asking everybody, every man what passed by, he was asking, but you are Jew. And this is the way he brought the 10 people to have the wedding, It's a very difficult part. It was not easy, it was not this one. If you try very hard, you make it, and you keep your religion.
And you keep your life.
And you keep your life.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
They're going to go off now.
All the best.
Thanks everyone for coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Good luck and all the best and a beautiful future.
Thank you.
Fight and keep strong.
Yes.
Okay.
Just like you.
Thank you very much, because it's very nice, because you still, from the age, I don't have nobody no more. So I couldn't, I was always talking about this, always telling everybody. So this was the most important thing.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. And all the best. Let's hear good news from everybody. A beautiful future.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone for joining us. Myra, Belinda, thank you again so much, and have a great night. And we hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night. And a good luck, and a beautiful future.